Because we like words and wordplay, do we? Very well. Starting with the basics of words, let's play. What is a cat? Now, if I were to ask you if you knew what a cat was, I am sure you would say, yes. How easy. Because everyone knows what a cat is. So then, were I to invite you to define a cat, I am sure you would suspect no problems with that. You would tell me that it has fur, 4 paws and a tail, and importantly says, meow. Well, your childish description would merit no applause because you can depilate a cat, or amputate its paws, or snip off its tail, or engage in any sick behavior such as that. But a damaged cat remains a cat. It is not suddenly and magically transmutated into a bloated slug, a human baby, or an overgrown naked mole rat. And as for meow, I have said it twice now, and we all know that I am not a cat. So, what is a cat? Well, rather than define it by what it has got, let us define it by what it is not. So what we are doing here is delineating a conceptual space, a set, if you will, anywhere within which approved and appropriate cat elements may reside and combine into prototypical forms and their lesser relatives, down to an acceptable minimum, but importantly, non-cat elements are restricted from entry into the aforementioned conceptual space because that entry would be a violation of the concept of cat, and thusly is the distinction drawn between cat and non-cat. Example. Does a cat have gills? No. Does a cat have wings? Yeah. Or tusks or horns or any such things? No. Bravo. And so we are finished. Are we? For what if I were to show a cat with horns to you? One that had been made by tweaking a gene cluster or two in a fine biotechnical institution. What would you call it? You would call it a motherfucking horned cat, because what could you rationally call it but that? A child, a mere child would say, "Mother, look at that funny cat." A professor would say, my, what an interesting cat. We would all think of it as some new kind of cat. So, what is a cat? Thank you very much.
Dear Lord, it's hot. Fuck. Don't worry, I'm only going to go 2 buttons down here and unleash my hair. Right, Rob, you know what to do. Can we kill the lights? Can we have the picture in the back? Yeah. Okay, so complete change of mood here. So one more poem, and this poem, atmospheric voice would be appreciated. Good. So this poem is about climate change and environmental damage. And the fact that the leaders of industry have been told this time and time again, and yet still they seem to be doing nothing about it. And I was thinking, you know, what's going on? Maybe it's because they think that if this world goes down, then it will be the poor people that suffer, not them, because they've got all the money. So they'll be all right, they'll be able to buy their way out of trouble. But the thing is this, if the whole world does collapse, then they'll be just as stuffed as the rest of us, because money won't be worth anything, and their children will be just as in jeopardy as ours. And so the other thing you need to know for this poem is that in the book of Revelations, in the Bible, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse are led in by a figure on a white horse, and that symbolizes conquest, but not military conquest, so it's a mysterious figure. Okay? Now, what I want you to do for this poem is remember that like watery noise that you were making before. We'll come on to that in a bit. Essentially, I want you to imagine yourself in this landscape, this wasted, futuristic landscape, and you are all there, and you are little fragments of air. So can everyone make like a little noise, like oh. And then I've done this before, so I know it to work, and then together, you just keep it on the low, keep it flowing throughout to set the atmosphere. This is the wind on the windy landscape. And in that landscape, and keep it going through the poem, in that landscape, coming along a woodland path comes a rider. And it goes like this. The hooves they drummed a devil's tattoo upon the woodland path. The mechanical horse, it was angel white, and never had had a sin in its mind. The rider, he was the admired man, and he saw no end to his sight. He was the captain of industry with bags of leaves, golden he ripped from the trees as he kicked his horse to ride on to the rhythm of hooves, the gathering of leaves and the rhythm of hooves, the gathering of leaves and the rhythm of hooves. But stop, because the weather cloud stepped across his path. Slow down, he said, look around. You're riding, it whips the wings and strips the trees, it shifts the reins and lifts the seas. No, I cannot risk that I'll be overtaken, the rider, he said to the clerk. There are other riders chasing me, and I built this horse for riding, said he. So move out of my way, I ride on to the rhythm of hooves, the gathering of leaves and the rhythm of hooves. Then stop, because 1 mile on, people cluttered his path, crying, we've seen the darkening skies. Please, hook back some leaves onto the trees to catch the winds that bring disease and rot the fish in our waters. But the rider just rode on, winged to the rhythm of hooves, the gathering of leaves and the rhythm of hooves. But then the air turned dark and the rain poured down, and the horse, it broke and stumbled and fell. Deep into the mud, it stumbled and fell with the rider, it stumbled and fell. And then the rider saw his daughter and called out to her in the panicking crowd, my daughter, come and see. I have the leaves to buy an ark to sail the seas when the waters rise. Though others perish, we will survive. But as he put his hand into his bag, those leaves crumbled to dust and blew away, so strangely from his hand away. Up to the dark storm they blew away. Oh, father, said the daughter, your leaves they have no magic now, because nobody will trade them. The farmer, he gives his food to men-at-arms to keep off the jackals of jagged towns that come running through the ragged woods. Now that rats are over on the granaries from the flagstones to the rafters, when the miller's children all fell sick in the squalid dereliction. And where's the doctor? He's fled to higher grounds to drink the torrential rains, because poison rivers run overland through eye sockets and open mouths of people falling in burning famine upon the putrid earth. It is a dark time, it's a dark time for humankind. And Father, you led in the other horsemen, riding to the rhythm of hooves, riding on your white horse. Ring, 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 ring. And stop.